My dear students, I hope your online study is going well. Through the preceding sessions, you have come to know that the company assessee may avail expenditure linked deductions through various provisions. In this current session, I am going to discuss some income linked incentives by which a company can minimize its tax liability substantially. So, as a commerce student, you know there are two types of deductions and incentives. One is expenditure linked and another is income linked. Expenditure or investment linked expenditure I have already discussed in the preceding sessions, like 32 AD, 33 AB, 33 ABA, 35 ABB, 35 AD. So, all are expenditure linked or investment linked deductions. In this session, I am going to discuss the income linked incentives which are very relevant for your study. This also depends on the nature of the business or nature of the activities of the company. Here I have identified certain provisions which may be availed by the corporate assessee. The Income Tax Authority has provided these sections for the benefit of the companies or corporate assessees. Since the Income Tax Authority or Income Tax Act provides some benefits, the company has to comply with the conditions as laid down in respective provisions. Here, I am going to identify certain provisions like the industrial undertaking or enterprise engaged in infrastructure as per Section 80 IA. Section 80 IAB is meant for undertaking or enterprise engaged in developing special economic zone. 80 IAC has been inserted for deduction in respect of eligible startups. Section 80 IB may be used for industrial undertaking other than infrastructure development. Section 80 IBA has been inserted for the housing projects. Section 80 ID says that any business or convention centers situated in NCR can claim such type of deduction. Section 80 IE is meant for certain undertakings in northeastern states. And Section 80 JJA has been included in this session in our lecture because this section has been inserted for companies who are engaged in the biodegradable waste. So, take one by one. See here, in the preceding sessions, when I discussed the tax planning in the area of location of the business, I have mentioned Section 80 IA, 80 IAB, 80 IC, 80 ID, 80 IE. So, these are relevant to the location of the business also. Now, we are considering the nature of the business. If the company establish their new unit or new industrial undertaking in a specified area or notified area, they can get the deduction. As well as the same company may get or may avail the deduction or incentives if they are engaged in a specific purpose. That is, in this case, I am giving the stress on the area or on the nature of the business activities. Suppose you may consider Section 80 IA. As per Section 80 IA, what are the different types of activities have been involved here? It may be infrastructural development. Infrastructural development means it may be a road construction, it may be a toll road, it may be a port, it may be telecommunication, it may be industrial park or power generation or distribution, cross-country natural gas distribution network. So, these are the nature of the business which may qualify for taking the advantage of incentive under section 80IA. So, to avail the deduction under section 80IA, the companies has to fulfill certain conditions. I have shortlisted the conditions here. If you follow the chart, you can get. Condition for 80IA is that it should be new enterprise, there should be an agreement with the central government, and it starts operation from 1st April 95 to 31st March 2017. So, this is the condition to be fulfilled by the company who are engaged in development of infrastructure or telecommunication or industrial park, power generation or distribution or both, cross-country natural gas distribution network. So, this is all about section 80IA. If they fulfill certain conditions, they can avail deduction under section 80IA to the extent of 100% of profit for 10 consecutive years. And this quantum of deduction may vary on the basis of the nature of the business. If it is telecommunication business, the 100% for 5 years and 30% for next 5 years, depending on the nature. So, we have to check what type of business they are doing to get the deduction under section 80IA. Then you can consider the section 80IAB. If any enterprise or undertaking is engaged in developing the special economic zone, so they are engaged in the development of special economic zone. They are not doing business in the special economic zone. They are developing the SEZ, that is special economic zone. Such type of business may also avail deduction under section 80IAB. So, conditions are also there. The SSC is a developer of SEZ and gross total income must include the profit from business of developing SEZ. If these conditions are fulfilled, then 100% of profit for 10 consecutive assessment years will be available for deduction. Then 80IAC. 80IAC states that any eligible startups may avail the deduction. What is the deduction? 100% of profit for 3 consecutive assessment years. Here the duration has been slashed from 10 years to 3 years, but the conditions are it should be a new startup, it should be engaged in innovation, development or improvement of product or process. It should be incorporated between 1st April 2017 to 31st March 2021 and the annual turnover is less than 25 crores. So, section 80IAC is meant for the new startup. This is the way how the government is encouraging the new startup. If the annual turnover is less than 25 crores and if it is established in between 1st April 2017 to 31st March 2021 and if it is engaged in innovation, development or improvement of product or process, then it may get a deduction under section 80IAC to the extent of 100% of profit for 3 consecutive assessment year. So, this is all about section 80IAC. Then you may consider 80IB. In section 80IB, you can find the organization, the companies, the assessees other than infrastructure development like hotel, industrial research, housing project, hospital in rural areas. So, this type of business or this type of industrial undertaking may get the deduction under section 80IB. Again, you have to consider the conditions, but the specific time frame to be checked here from the nature of the business. If it is hotel, if it is industrial research, if it is housing project, the duration in which it is established, you have to check to get the deduction. Since conditions vary from nature to nature, the deduction, the quantum of the deduction also varies from 25% to 100%, and prescribed duration is also varied on the basis of the nature of the business. So 80IB is meant for the industrial undertaking other than the infrastructure development, which I have mentioned in 80IA. Then you may consider 80IBA, profits from the housing project. So you may notice that everywhere, in every section, we are highlighting the nature of the business or nature of the activities. It may be hotel business, it may be industrial research, it may be a new startup, it may be housing project. So the activities have been classified in different sections. The ultimate objective is to promote the business, is promote the industry, because here location is also linked. Because we have already discussed the location part, we are considering here only the nature of the business or nature of the activities. Section 80IBA is meant for the housing project. Here also some conditions have been laid down. Project is must be approved after 1st June 2006 up to 31st March 2019. Project is completed within 5 years from the date of approval. So these conditions to be checked, and 100% profit will be deducted as incentives as per section 80IBA. Then you may consider section 80ID. Section 80ID is meant for business of hotels and conventions in National Capital Territory or region. So it should be a new company, new business, and it should be established in a notified area. If these conditions are fulfilled, then such type of hotel or convention center may avail the incentive of 100% of profit for 5 years. Then you may consider section 80IE. Section 80I states that certain undertakings in northeastern states. Here I am not considering the place, I am not considering the location of the business. I am giving the stress on the nature of the business or nature of the activities for which the business has been set up. Section 80IE states that if certain undertakings who are engaged in 3-star hotel, nursing home, old age home, biotechnology, or provides vocational training in their own institute, then such type of company may avail deduction under section 80IE. Conditions are it should be new business and specified period of operation to be checked. It varies from assessment year to assessment year. So you have to check in which year, in which previous year it starts its operation. If the conditions are fulfilled, then such type of business may avail deduction of 100% of profit for 10 years. So this is section 80IE. This means for the business who are engaged in biotechnology, hotel business, that is 3-star hotel business, nursing home, old age home, or maintenance of vocational training institute. So this is section 80IE. You may consider another section here, that is section 80JJA. 80JJA is meant for business of processing of biodegradable waste. So biodegradable waste means the companies whose gross total income includes profits derived from business of generating power, producing biogas or organic manures. So if the conditions are fulfilled, like it should generate the power or producing biogas, organic manures, then it will get a deduction of 100% of profit for 5 years. So, the business who are engaged in processing of biodegradable waste. So, in this session, we have discussed the income linked incentives, which is based on the nature of the business or activity of the business. It may be Section 80IA, it may be 80IB, it may be 80ID, it may be 80IE, whatever it may be. But to avail the tax incentives under these sections, under these provisions of income linked incentives, the company has to satisfy certain conditions. If certain conditions are fulfilled, then they can avail the tax incentives for the specific period as mentioned for each provision. Here you can notice that for all these sections, I have used the term initial assessment year and the tax holiday. Tax holiday means the year, the period for which no tax is payable by the company. The objective of providing the tax holiday is to give a space to the company to come at the break-even. During the period of tax holiday, they are not required to pay any tax. They can retain the entire amount with the business. This is the tax holiday. And initial assessment year generally starts from the assessment year in which the business starts its business or commences its business. In the provision of Section 80s, here you have seen the companies are availing the tax holiday. It may be 10 years, it may be 3 years, it may be 5 years, depending on the nature of the business. But it should lie within the initial assessment year. Initial assessment year means it may be 15 years or 10 years. Initial assessment. So, this is all about the income linked incentives which may be used by the corporate assessee to minimize their tax liability. So, the tax liability can be minimized if the companies think about the nature of the activity, because as per Income Tax Act, there are so many provisions which may be available, which may be availed by the companies to minimize their tax bill. Therefore, the company assessee may avail both expenditure linked and income linked incentives to minimize its tax liability. There are so many provisions you may find in the Income Tax Act, but for our easy understanding, I have considered some of them for our discussion. You should have clear ideas on all the provisions for an effective tax planning. Thank you.